Hey, John here. So this exercise is really helpful if you have problems with accuracy and control when it comes to synchronizing your hands. And it's kind of built in the way that you're going to practice this, that you cannot go faster than you're able to do it accurately. So that's one big benefit of this exercise. Also, it's quite easy to start practicing. It's quite easy to understand. But as usual, you have the tabs available on my Patreon as well. But we'll start on the 5th fret here, and you can start on any fret, and you should start on different frets every day. If you do it at the tempo that I put in the notation, which is 40 BPMs, it's gonna take you 5 minutes per position. So that's pretty handy reference, so you know how much time it's gonna take you. Unless you screw it up, of course, then it's gonna take a little bit longer. So just make sure that you do it in a different position every day, but I'm gonna start it on the 5th fret just because it fits the frame of the video nicely. We're gonna do this twice, starting with a downstroke and starting with an upstroke. And that's very important when it comes to any type of ultimate picking exercise, because otherwise you're only gonna be used to doing it in one way. And then when you're improvising or you're learning a solo, you can't really choose most of the time what pick stroke you should start on. So you can paint yourself into a corner technically if you do that. And that's never a nice feeling when you feel like, oh shit, I cannot do this. And then you need to spend a lot of time working that out. So it's better to do this preemptively by being a bit more systematic and thorough in your exercises. And again, if you hate these type of chromatic exercises, maybe move on to another video or just try it and you'll see the benefit. And obviously it's not about putting this into actual music, but it will give you control of your fingers. So when you try playing anything that's more musical, you will have more control when you worked on this. So a lot of people think that, well, shouldn't I just practice a Bach piece or a solo from a particular artist? You should do that as well, but for technical development though, that's usually too much for your brain to think about when you have to remember all the different positions and the order of the notes and all that stuff. If you can simplify that instead and then focus on using accents as we're going to do in this one, or other practice techniques, it's going to be much easier to get your technique together because you're not thinking about a million different things. You're actually focusing on what matters for a technical exercise, and that is to level up your technique. So I'm going to play a part of it here so you can see what it's all about, then I'm going to explain how to do it, and then I'm going to play the whole thing in the way that you should be practicing it. So, starting on the 5th fret. So that's basically half of the exercise. And if you notice, I'm just doing this chromatic type thing where I'm going up, 1, 2, 3, 4, shifting up 1 fret, going back 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I changed to the next string and do the opposite. So I'm starting with the descending version. So, and shift down and go up. So if I just do those two. Then I continue on to the next string, up, down, down, up. Then next string, up, down, and then shift string, down, up. So every other string is going to be either up and down, or down and up. So if I put the whole thing together again, so that's the complete exercise. So what I did here on the high E string, I basically did the same thing again. So I'm coming from the B string, and then I'm doing, but then instead of going back to the B string right away, I restart the E string with the same sequence. And then go down. And the reason for that is, if I would go straight from the E string after this, I would only have 1 rep on the high E string. And as we do all strings twice when we do it this way. And this might feel like super anal to do it this way, but I think over time, if you do these type of exercises and you keep only doing it once on, let's say, the top E string or the bottom E string, that's going to show up in your technique for sure, because you get so many fewer reps on the high E string than or the low E string. So I try to be really conscious about this stuff. And maybe I should get another hobby or something, because I tend to overthink this a lot. But I do think that overthinking actually led to a better technique, because I really don't like leaving any stone unturned, if that makes sense. So that's the exercise. Now, you don't just want to play it straight up like that. Instead, you want to go through it, and I'm thinking about this in 16th notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we want to accent each 16th note throughout the whole thing. So we're gonna, if you think of 16th notes as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna accent each one of each group now. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be like this. I'm gonna do this without an amp actually, so you can hear it. Obviously, you don't want to accent that much, really. I usually do what I call a mental accent, where I don't really smack the string too hard. It's more of a accent where I really focus on that particular note more, so I can really feel the connection of the right and left hands. So you don't need to overdo it, and definitely don't overdo it so much that you can actually see with your own eyes that your hand is doing something different. But with that said, that's what I would do throughout the whole exercise. I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that takes more focus. And that's what I said in the beginning, that if you just do this, you just go for it, and you put on all your distortion and all your delays and effects and compression and whatever, you might even fool yourself that some of the notes are clean. But when you have to be really conscious and take care that every note that you accent at least will be super clean, that's where sort of the biggest benefit of this type of practicing comes in. So don't worry if you feel like you're practicing really slowly, and you might even have to do it slower than 40 BPMs initially, which is fine. If you do that, I would just start with your foot and be able to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you just follow your voice and making sure that your foot is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the difference here, if you haven't tried it, is that that tempo might be like 25 BPMs or something, which would be really difficult to line up with a metronome. So the metronome won't help you in that case. So that might be a good idea for anyone actually. When you first do this, just use counting and count out loud. So that's the first variation. So now, since we start with a downstroke, every one will be a down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now we're gonna do it again, starting with an upstroke. And if it wasn't clear, you play through the entire exercise accenting whatever particular accent you're working on. So now we're gonna do the same thing with the 2, each 2 in each group of 4. So we're gonna go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you see my leg here, very important, always keep the foot on 1. Even though this might feel frustrating and you fail at first, it's even more reason to work on this, because if you can play something and actually having a foot being in time and not starting to follow what you're playing, meaning that you start putting the foot down on notes that are not on the downbeat, that means that you're out of control rhythmically, and that will actually be harder for you to develop a good technique, because all this synchronization stuff is timing based. So the better timing you have, the better off you will be here, and timing overall is super important. So don't skip this step just because it might be frustrating. All right, so we're gonna do this once you've done accenting the 2s, which will be upstrokes in this case. So the 3s sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on throughout the whole exercise. And then you do 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're not done. We're halfway through. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing again, but now we're going to start with an upstroke. So everything is turned around. So you go, when you accent the ones now, it's going to be an upstroke. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the twos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So you go through the whole thing again. So in total, you're going to play this exercise in each position for 8 times. And that will take you 5 minutes if you do it at 40 BPMs. And just make sure that you do this in a different position every day. And if you have more time, absolutely try it in maybe 2 positions every day, right? So that's a 10-minute exercise. And if you're really crazy, maybe do it for 15 minutes. But I think exercises like these, I don't think you should probably spend more than maybe 10 to 15 minutes at the most, because there's more important things to practice as well. But doing that is enough to get a stimulus or stimuli for your brain and finger connection, and that will build your muscle memory and your control over time. And again, don't do this and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna try my hardest licks now and see if I'm better. That would be like going to the gym and then just standing in the mirror after your workout and being like, why do I still look like, silly old me? Why don't I look like Arnold? And of course, that will take way longer. But for some reason, some people think that, some guitar exercises are magic or they're guitar hacks or anything like that. No such thing exists, as far as I know. If you find any hacks, please send them to me. I would love them as well. But what I do know work is to focus on the accuracy and the control, and this exercise has that built in. Back in the day, I used to have real issues with fast alternate picking when it came to 2 notes per string. I was fine with 3 notes per string, but the 2 notes per string thing was a bit harder to crack. So if you struggle with fast alternate picking as well, and you don't know what to practice or for how long, I've created the perfect solution for you in the form of the Pentatonic Picking Power Book. So in this book, you'll find a daily workout that will not only help your pentatonic picking, but will also upgrade your overall alternate picking technique. So it contains basically the same exercises I use myself to develop my picking abilities, as well as numerous students over the years that I've given the same exercise to with great results. So I know these exercises work as long as you put in the work. So it's not a quick solution or quick fix. It will still take a lot of work, but at least you have a very easy to follow routine. So if you're up for a big alternate picking upgrade in 2024, I cannot think of a better start. It's $9 and I think it's very underpriced, but I did it that way just so as many people as possible could be helped by this. So check that out.